Hello, everybody. This is Debo's Film Reviews here, and I'm going to review Fast Five, starring Paul Walker as Brian O'Connor, Jordana Brewster as Mia Toretto, Vin Diesel as Dom Toretto, featuring Sung Kang as Han, Don Omar and Tio Calderon. I kind of brain fart on their names right now, but with Gal Gadot as Giselle, Elsa Pataki as Elena, and in his first outing in the franchise, Dwayne Johnson as Agent Luke Hobbs, with a post-credit cameo by Eva Mendes as Agent Fuentes, and Joaquin de Almeida as the villain, Reyes, alongside Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson reprising their roles from Too Fast and Furious. And those two always made a good comedic team for the franchise. From where in the Too Fast and Furious, Roman Pierce was the badass street racer, just like Brian, and it's now in this one and almost every other outing since, he's just been the comic relief character. Just fast talking about how he ain't got no, how he's all, you know, always trying to be funny and such. And then of course how Tesh Parker goes from like computer from average Joe mechanic to supercomputer genius, which is kind of surprising of how. I mean, it's kind of like going from Cooter Davenport to Q. And I'm talking about 007 Q, because well, Fast Five is the one that transferred the franchise from street racing to 007 type stuff, which turned them into unofficial mercenaries. All this one, they're doing a bank job on a cartel, on the cartel kingpin Reyes, and of course while being on the run with and seeking refuge from Vince, played by Matt Schultz, in his second and final outing in the franchise. And of course with that you got the whole, that's enough of the characters and all. Talk about back to the movie where it's got the prison escape at the end, at the end of the Fast and Furious 4, and the beginning of Fast 5, which makes this serial the only two serial movies in the same franchise. And how odd, how rare occasion that the Buster ever drove American Muscle, like first in Too Fast and Furious, and then second here in Fast Five, not counting well, of course, the ending of Fast Four, Furious, Fast and Furious, and Fast Five intertwine and all. And oof, talk about how they escaped, and then these seeking refuge for Vince and his family. Then they do a job which took out some DEA, which of course the Reyes people took out some DEA agents and blamed Dom and the family for it after screwing them after they decided to screw the cartel on a job, and because old Dom knew something was up. And we're talking about some of the badass cars they jacked in that train scene. Where it was like the Pantera, the GT40, which was pretty much the whole thing that got him into trouble, and a tricked out Corvette, which of course Dom later drove into a ravine. And it was like, yeah, you're on, yeah, you ain't in your charger when you're thinking you're a dick boy, ain't you, Dom? And then that truck that they used to haul the vehicles off and all. Oh, about for a movie that ain't a western, one of the best looking train robbery scenes in a film. And of course, course, there's some flaws in it, like how when they recruit when Tej, Roman, and Giselle and Han join finally meet Dom and all, and they all join forces. Plus Don Omar and Tego. And of course, in that one scene that I was considered the major flaw, because yeah, when old Tej buys old 63 Fairlane, and I'm just like surprised there weren't no chase scenes or street race with that beautiful ride, because I mean, for a car that, I mean, it was pretty much a fast one for its day, because in the '60s, early '60s, because that's what they were racing in NASCAR, and I'm just like thinking if it was good enough for Tiny Lund, who won the 1963 Daytona 500, it was good enough for Fast and Furious franchise. I mean, seriously, the Galaxy, that's one of the most beautiful cars of the '60s, and they reduced it to a cameo. Also, like that flaw when they how they have like a sort of car meet, and they're negotiating or trying to get some more rides, and of course with Brian in a early generation Skyline beginning of the movie, and Dom in his traditional Charger, which surprisingly didn't have the exposed blower for once. I gotta say, excellent, although major flaw to how it didn't have a street race scene with that and that Porsche, that blue Porsche that they acquired. Kind of like, and they weren't even a deleted scene of that race either in the DVD, in the Blu-ray. I mean, not even not even like I just mentioned, should have had like a good one, at least one good race for chasing with that Fairlane. And talking about Joaquin de Almeida, I mean, he, he was probably one of the best villains of the franchise. I mean, underrated actor and always plays a damn good villain. And he was talking about some funny scenes like when they're trying to get intel for the heist and all, and old Roman's taunting, dealing those with the Brazilian police, and then they have like quips about how Tej is bad driving with even with a remote control vehicle and all, and then oof, and then then you get the whole relationship between Dom and Elena, which is how she went from being a cop on his trail, joining Hobbs and all, being the only honest cop in Brazil, to to being Dom's fling of the movie. I would say excellent character development on that one, and how Hobbs goes from on their trail to helping them after after he captures them, and then raises people, jumps the convoy, and then Dom saves Hobbs, but loses Vince in the process. And oof, man, talk about some epic scenes in that movie. Epic scenes, another epic scene of that franchise, and then of course you got the final heist and the whole deal with the unmarked with the tricked out cars that they stole. Talk about practically the only street race in the film, which was where they run around cop cars, and of course Dom froze one to let Brian have it just because he knocked up Mia in the movie. And talking about the character development between Han and Giselle, because they made an excellent couple in the film, and excellent screen chemistry, and talk about some badass badassery on that one. And a little surprising with when Hobbs finally teams up with him instead of leading a posse on him, which of course in that convoy ambush he loses his men and all, and of course just decides to join in because they, of course, this whole saved life thing now troping. Although now when it come down to the jacking that safe and all, I almost want to say that's kind of the whole deal with the two Chargers and the tying a giant rig through the streets of Rio de Janeiro, and I'm just like, that's got to be the most stupid, awesome chase in a film. I mean, it's awesome, but kind of stupid to where they could have had like, where Hobbs had like that big truck that they could have just used that for, or clearly another excuse they could have another opportunity to put for them to put pickup trucks or something like that in there, but they still lost some chase and all the carnage through the streets at Rio and how they and all that and to talk about epic and then of course the whole twist of the whole where it was doing the fake safe that they paraded down, and of course, wow, Giselle and the others kind of were offered the real ones to a meeting point and all after the whole, and then and of course Reyes gets his comeuppance after old after Dom unhooks Brian and then escapes, and like in typical movie logic. I mean, overall, this one gets a 5 out of 5, despite my personal flaws of it. I would say personal in my opinion, but overall, an absolute must watch. And hope y'all like, subscribe, and enjoy my review. I'll keep dishing them out.